Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another Sunday brunch. I am Basil Barrington. I haven't done a Sunday brunch in a few weeks, but I am back. But first, before we get started, let me tell you the lens I am shooting this video on. This is the Viltrox 9mm f2.8 air lens. This is for the Sony E-mount. And I'm shooting, my settings are, I'm shooting at f2.8, 30 frames. And my ISO is at 3200, and I'm only using one light source. I have the Amaran Verge Max. You know, this is almost like a softbox, but it's basically the width of an iPhone, right? And it's pretty cool. So this lens is very wide. I mean, like, I'm just going to show you how wide it is really quickly here. And that's at its full 9mm. So let me just go back here because I like it better this way. Okay, so there we go. So now we are back. So that's the Viltrox 9mm. I do like this lens. I wanted a much wider lens. When I'm in my DJ studio, I can record myself when I'm doing DJ sets or doing reviews right at my DJ desk. So that's why I got this. So that's pretty cool. Recently, I posted a video about the Reloop RP-5000 MK4 turntable. This is an entry-level turntable, but it is pretty good. And that's what I was trying to basically convey in this video was that, yes, this is a $500 entry-level turntable where the arm assembly doesn't turn, so you can't really adjust the arm up and down. But for the most part, it's a pretty good turntable, entry level, you know? And, you know, I said in a video as well, I was just like, okay, once you get these turntables, where are you taking them? You're not taking them anywhere, you know? Because when you go to a place when you're doing a vinyl set, the turntables generally are already wherever you're going. You're not carrying turntables like DJs used to do back in the day. And I thought that the Reloop RP-5000 MK4 turntable, 4th version, was pretty good as an experienced DJ, so you gotta love that. So I wanted to get that review out the way because now I am basically going into this entire modular DJ sort of space here. So right now I have the Zone 96, I'm gonna talk about the Zone 96 briefly. So I have the Zone 96 DJ mixer. I have 2 Zone K3 controllers. I also have the Tractor X1 MK3, and I also have the Reloop Mixtour Pro. This is the second time I had the Mixtour Pro. And I gotta say just up front, and you're gonna see that in a video I do about that, is I was wrong about that device. And this is what I mean when I say I was wrong. I have been looking for a mobile setup, something I can just throw in a bag, go to like a lounge, go to a roof deck, you know, go to like an art gallery and just rock out that way, you know. And so I was looking for these DJ controllers, you know, 2-channel DJ controllers. And then I thought, okay, so maybe my Flex 10 will work. It will work as 4 channels, you know. I don't know what I would be doing with 4 channels at these sort of like, you know, boutique-ish sort of events I do. So I plugged up the Mixtour Pro with the iPad, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this. I'm gonna play with this for about an hour, 2 hours. I'm gonna do a set here. And it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. This size, the form factor is small. That's the thing that sort of like freaked me out. The form factor was pretty small. It is pretty small compared to, you know, the X3, compared to the K3. It's pretty small, right? But as I was playing with it, I was like, yo, you know what? This is the perfect device for what I'm trying to do. Throw it in a bag. Throw your iPad in a bag, and you're done. The I/O is RCAs, but that's fine. You know, if you have like a XLR, you know, you can just get an adapter or something like that. So that device is pretty cool. Again, I'm gonna come back with another video about that. Now the Zone K3. Whew, you know, That device is completely made of metal. I don't even know why I slept on that device because I was like, okay. This is the first time I actually had one of these K3 models or K2 or K1 models in my hands, you know. And I'm like, wow, this joint is made out of metal. Oh, wow, this is pretty dope. So after I had finished my review of the Reloop RP-5000 MK4, I said, okay, I'm gonna hook this up. I'm gonna hook up the Zone 96 and 2 Zone K3s. And so you're like, okay, which DJ software were you using with that? I was using DJ Pro. Now, DJ Pro just released the mappings, the support for the K3. No fanfare. It's just like, hey, you basically have to go to the website. I didn't get an email or anything like that. You went to the website. It's like, hey, this is working, right? And so I'm playing with that. And with this mapping, you have 3 layers. You have just the basic mixer layer, and then you have the stems layer, and then you have this sort of sample loop layer. So I basically had it on the second layer, which was the stems layer, which is a mixer. It gives you control of, not a mix, I'm sorry, the stems, the layer for the stems, the second layer is for the stems. So you do have EQ, and you also have effects. And then you have stem control using volumes. You can also turn on and off stems as well. But you have 4 stem control, volume. So I'm doing this set with DJ Pro and the Zone 96, and I was like, wow, this is really awesome. Now, the Zone K3, Virtual DJ also has a mapping for the K3. They support the K3 as well. Of course, Virtual DJ has a mapping. They support the K3 because that's what they do. And so I haven't played with that yet, but I'm going to check that out. But pretty cool. Now, the Zone 96 mixer. I turned this mix on. I did a vinyl set. I also did a DVS set. I also did a set with, just some modular DJ gear. And I have to say, that mixer is, I've said this before. Allen and Heath DJ mixers sound way better than anything that Pioneer has ever built, period. And I'm DJing with this mixer, and I'm like, this joint has the power of a recording studio mixer. This mixer has the headroom. I mean, the headroom is crazy. So I'm playing, and I'm just like, wow, this is just not sounding really good. Because I have my EQ set like just center, right? So I was just like, okay, no. That's not how you're supposed to play with the Zone 96. The Zone 96 wants you to push it, right? So I cranked up the bass, cranked up the sweepable mids, the highs, and wow, that mixer is serious, right? It's not quite like the Zone DB4, which, I still think is like the best mixer out there, even though it's discontinued. If you can get your hands on one, go get one. It's a hybrid mixer, digital and analog, but it has a lot more effects on it. Whereas the Zone 96, it just has a filter, and it, gives you the ability to connect other sort of devices, effects devices, which is cool, so now your whole setup is starting to look like this modular sort of setup. So yeah, so I'm going to start putting together a lot more videos about like this, my modular DJ setup journey. It's going to be pretty cool, and I'm like really looking forward to it, because right now, if you really think about it, and I've always said this before, there's nothing really going on in the DJ space if you really think about it. Really think about it, right? Let me turn that down a little bit. Really think about it. There is absolutely nothing going on in the DJ space. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you may get some software updates. You may get some gear, but not really anything innovative. I can say that some of these modular DJ pieces, I think that's where the bread and butter is for a lot of these companies, right? I think the other thing is this is the future of DJing. this modular whole DJ setup stuff. You know, I've seen Carl Cox do it, Dubfire, Richie Houghton, all those guys. You know, just some of the big boy, you know, big club sort of like DJs, or at least festival or traveling DJs. They have these rigs, and you know, they really freak the party. You know, they rock the party. So I think modular DJing is the future of DJing. But if you really think about it, all we're doing is we have two decks, be it turntables or CDJs or a controller, and we have these jog wheels or turntables, and that's really it. But with modular DJing, now you have the ability to bring in other elements. You have the ability to control other aspects of your DJ software. And it's real fun too. Like sometimes, I will say this though, sometimes when I am DJing with modular DJ devices, and I've been doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, I do miss, you know, the jog wheels sometimes. And I definitely miss, you know, just turntables and things like that. I have like my turntables set up in a totally different room, and it's they're connected. The turntables are just connected to an analog system. So I have an old school Carver amp, old school like Silvan Vega speakers, and then when I want to record the set, I'll record it on reel or a cassette, and then obviously, you know, digital as well, right? But yeah, this whole modular DJ, I am really on this stuff. This is the future of DJing. It's super creative. You cannot beat the fact that now, like the window of opportunity, the window of creativity has just completely opened when you think about modular DJing, right? And I really like that. And I think that if you are going to look into sort of modular DJ devices, you definitely have to look at the Zone K3, the Allen and Heath Zone K3. You definitely have to look at the Native Instruments Tractor X1 MK3, also the Reloop Mix Tour Pro, and then some other devices too. I mean, they have effects boxes you can use, you have guitar pedals you can use. You see what I'm saying? This thing can get very crazy, but I will say this, and this is something that I think people who may be starting this journey may not know. But when you start introducing all of these other sort of modular DJ devices, you know, all this stuff is connected via, you know, USB or something like that. So you're not going to have a lot of like USB ports on your laptop. So when you're getting into the whole modular DJ thing, right, you're going to need some sort of a docking station or a hub, a USB docking station or a hub, because you're going to need that power. And your computer isn't going to have a lot of USB ports on it. So you're going to need to expand that, right? So keep that in mind. And when you do get a docking station or a hub, figure out the difference between the two. Just know that you're going to need one that can, you know, that's going to provide ample amount of power to each port, you know, and not just sort of divide the power amongst the, you know, 12 or 15 ports or something like that. You want the exact same of power going through each port. So again, make sure you find out what a hub is versus a docking station and figure it out. The other thing I will tell you about this whole modular DJ thing is this. Again, once you start introducing more modular DJ devices to your setup, because you will, because it's fun. That's the whole journey of it. You know, it's just like, oh, I can get this pedal, I can get that effect, I can like use this like, you know, pad controller. Yeah, I can use this right here. This is the PreSonus Atom. I can use the PreSonus Atom and hook it up. So, and I've been thinking about that, right? So I'm going to do that. You know, you can use any of the machine, you know, the machine devices if you want to, you know, to, you know, sort of introduce into your modular DJ setup as well. I saw this one video and this guy had about, oh my goodness, he had about like 15 pieces, 15 devices in his modular DJ setup. That's too much. For me, anyway, it's just like, okay, he had keyboards, he had like, you know, pad controllers, he had all this other stuff. He had you know, synths and everything. And it's just like, wow, he had a couple Moogs up there. And I was just like, okay, what is he doing? What is this guy doing? Does he even know where everything is? And he was like, you know, using patch chords to like create different sounds and everything. Everything he created was like, you know, totally original though. So you got to give that person that. I don't even know if I can find the video. If I do, I will leave it in the show link, the show description, I should say, right? But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so he had all these devices. And so I was like, he needs a hub. He needs some sort of a USB hub or a USB docking station or something like that. So keep that in mind. The more gear you get, think about how many USB ports you have on your computer or, you know, laptop. And then if you have 4 or 5, you know, different pieces of modular DJ gear, you're going to need a hub. So keep that in mind. So get that hub, get an Anchor or something like that, Ugreen or something. But do your research, figure out the difference between a hub and also a docking station so you can get the right device. And I would say whatever sort of system you get, make sure that that device has to be plugged up into power and not USB powered. I do know that for sure, that you want a device that plugs up to power, not USB power. Well, anyway, I just wanted to pop on and talk about what's going on. And yeah, so I have some videos coming up about this whole modular DJ stuff. So, you know, stay tuned. Well, there you have it. Until next time, peace.